Most people will never see what lives 1,000 feet below the ocean, but today we sent a camera down while we were fishing, and the moment it reached the bottom, everything changed. What we captured down there completely shocked us, so let's get right into it. Before we dropped this camera 1,000 feet into complete darkness, the day actually started like any other fishing trip. We left the inlet before sunrise, heading straight offshore with one main goal: tilefish. These fish live on the bottom, sometimes deeper than 800 or even 1,000 feet. So every time we target them, we're fishing right on the edge of the unknown. But today wasn't just about catching fish. Today we wanted to explore what's really happening down there at a depth where sunlight never reaches, where pressure can crush anything that isn't built to survive, and where some of the strangest creatures in the ocean lurk. So from the moment we left the dock, this trip felt different. While we were making our way offshore, we got the underwater camera ready. This isn't just any camera, it's built to withstand insane pressure. At 1,000 feet, the ocean is literally trying to crush anything that goes down there. We clipped it onto a heavy pound mono and made sure that every connection was locked in tight, because once this thing goes overboard, you don't get a second chance. Next, we rigged our bait. For deep drops like this, we were using fresh squid, something that gives off a strong scent and can attract anything from tilefish to predators that roam the bottom. Then came the weight, not a small one. This rig needs a massive sinker just to punch through the current and make it all the way down to the bottom. If your weight is too light, the camera never hits bottom and you never get the footage. But with the camera rigged properly, there was one more step: the light. At 1,000 feet, it is absolutely pitch black. No sunlight, no reflections, nothing. So we clipped on deep drop lights, small but powerful LEDs designed to handle extreme pressure. These lights don't brighten everything around the camera, but they create a small glow just enough for the lens to pick up movement. Once everything was finally ready, we positioned the boat directly on our spot, and now it's time to make our way down 1,000 feet deep. Now when you're dropping a deep drop rig from the surface all the way down to 1,000 feet, you quickly realize just how far that really is. Most people don't think about it, but the ocean is like another world. At the top, it's bright blue and full of life, but every foot our camera sank, the world around it faded. By 100 feet, the sunlight starts to disappear. At 200, everything turns a darker shade of blue, and once you hit 400 or 500 feet, the camera is basically falling into total darkness. It takes a long time to reach bottom, sometimes 5 to 8 minutes, and while the camera is sinking, this is the part where the anticipation really starts to build, because once you're past 400 or 500 feet, you're officially in a part of the ocean that almost nobody ever sees. It's quiet, it's dark, and feels like anything could swim out of the shadows at any moment. And honestly, that's what makes these drops so exciting. You never know what the camera is going to land next to, or what might pass by on the way down. We have officially just hit bottom. The camera settled into the sand, everything went still for a moment, and we just waited to see what would show up. Then, out of nowhere, we saw our very first fish, a tilefish. Now at this depth, these are almost always golden tilefish. They're incredibly hard to come by, and they live way down in these deep burrows, and they're actually considered one of the best eating bottom fish in the entire ocean. Seeing one right away at 1,000 feet was an awesome sign, and it told us that this camera landed in the perfect spot. We waited a few seconds, and as our rig drifted for the next 5 minutes, these tilefish kept circling the camera. They were clearly interested, so we let everything soak and just watched to see if one of them would actually take our bait. Golden tilefish are incredibly hard to catch, so anytime you see them hanging around like this, you know something special might happen. From that moment, that golden tilefish hit our bait. Everything felt perfect. The line stayed tight, the rod had that steady deep water bend, and as we reeled him up, we could feel that classic heavy head shake they're known for. Minute by minute, the fish kept rising. Every time the reel gained more line, our confidence kept climbing too, because you almost never get a golden tilefish this quickly. And the whole time you could tell he was still hooked solid. So after reeling him all the way up, we finally had this fish right under the boat, and this is where it all fell apart. Somehow, in the last few feet of the fight, he managed to shake the hook. 1 second he was right there, just below the surface, and the next second he kicked hard and disappeared straight back down to the bottom. Watching a golden tilefish swim away after bringing him up 1,000 feet, that was one of the most heartbreaking things you'll ever see. But we weren't done. We decided to make one last drop to see if we could get our revenge. So we re-rigged with fresh squid, positioned the boat back over our spot, and sent our deep drop rig another 1,000 feet down into complete darkness. So we started making our way back down to the bottom again, and honestly, it was hard to get over losing that giant golden tilefish. When you bring a fish up from 1,000 feet and lose it right under the boat, it sticks with you. But on this drop, we were hoping more than anything to redeem ourselves. We're now just seconds away from the bottom, and as you guys can see, it's pitch black again down here. We officially touched down, and at first, nothing showed up for a while. For the first 20, almost 30 seconds, it was just our squid sitting alone on the bottom. No movement, no shadows, nothing but silence. And honestly, that's when it all starts to feel a little eerie. But then, out of nowhere, 2 tilefish appeared from the shadows. They came in slow at first, just circling the bait, almost like they were trying to figure out what it was. But the longer they stayed in the lights, the more interested they became. These tilefish were locked in on our squid, and for a moment, it looked really good on this drop. And sure enough, one of them finally committed. The line went tight and we were hooked up again with another golden tilefish. Right away, this fish started fighting really hard. You could feel every head shake, every surge, and honestly, it felt like this time he had swallowed that circle hook perfectly. This was our chance at redemption. But here's the crazy part. When I went back and reviewed the footage from the camera, I realized we weren't alone down there. About halfway up, completely out of nowhere, a giant hammerhead shark cruised right past the camera. And that's the wild thing about using this underwater rig. You just never know what you're going to see 1,000 feet below the surface. We finally had this fish right near the boat, and my dad reached down, grabbed the line, and brought him in by hand. And just like that, we landed a golden tilefish. It wasn't a giant like the one we lost earlier, but after everything that happened on this trip, the deep drops, the heartbreak, the hammerhead, this fish meant a lot. It was a perfect way to end our day on the water. We hope you guys enjoyed this underwater video, and we'll see you in the next Barjack's Family Fishing video.